Y'all got some of them Family Guy memes.
Family Guy is an American animated sitcom created by Seth MacFarlane for the Fox Broadcasting Company. The series centers on the Griffins, a family consisting of parents Peter. Hi again, guys. This is my pet turtle. Credits to Epic Donut Dude for the intro meme. He's the instant regret playlist guy. Please end my life. But hi again, everyone. I hope you're all doing better than I am right now. My brain has become so mushy over the last week that parts of it are starting to drip out of my ears. The only way I found to stop it is to shove earbuds really deep into them. Now, the astute viewers of you might remember me making that earlier showcase tweet about a particular American animated sitcom created by Seth MacFarlane entitled Family Guy. One in which I made a humble request to you, the viewer, to send me epic funny memes about Genealogy Man. My first mistake, aside from asking you guys to help with literally anything, was phrasing the tweet as a question that could even remotely have a yes or no answer. But nevertheless, when I made it, I did realize what I was getting into. The Peter Griffin Perhaps image makes up most of the replies to that tweet, and no one is surprised. I did find out there was a GIF version of that image though because of that thread. But that notwithstanding, if you couldn't guess, today we're gonna be doing the epic eyebrows only reaction to some Family Guy memes and or cursed images. Whichever the two terms you prefer. And before you ask, I know just saying Family Guy memes doesn't exactly narrow down the playing field of what it is we're looking at. It could mean anything from Pepperidge Farm Remembers to Peter distorting into a Lovecraftian horror creature because he drank something that tasted bad. Me saying it how I did is akin to throwing the widest net you can find into the ocean and hoping that you catch a Bengal tiger on accident. But the first type of sacrilegious Family Man memes I want to talk about is the one that just might be the most infamous moment from the show in its 20-year-long history. A meme that shaped an entire generation. And of course, I'm talking about the one where they killed Cartoon Dog. The year was 2013, November 24th. It was a Sunday night much like any other. Families on the couch and divorced alcoholic fathers from around the world gathered around their TV sets for episode 6 of season 12 of the hit show Family Guy. Entitled Life of Brian, the episode seemed to be going on as usual, your typical Family Guy thing, with the funny cutaway gags that have nothing to do with what's happening in the episode, and the whole family being rambunctious and raunchy. That is, until the episode took a turn that nobody could have expected. Stewie and Brian are playing some hockey, and Brian heads out into the middle of the street, completely unaware that a car is careening down the road about to turn him into red paste until it's too late and he's already been run over. Brian may have died that day, but he lived on in all of our hearts. And while a fairly funny Italian dog did take his place, everybody knew that things would never be the same. There were riots around the world, but mostly on the internet, and they all rallied around a single cause: bring Brian back. 3 weeks of mourning later, and we find ourselves at a Family Guy Christmas special, where Stewie realizes that he found himself from the past with a time machine who went forward in time to get his Christmas presents early. He steals the time machine from his past self to go back in time in order to save Brian from dying, and thus a lesson was taught to us all by Seth MacFarlane on that day. Haha, funny walking, talking dog dead. And also something like never take those you love for granted, for they can be gone in a flash, or some gay shit like that. No one cares, okay? The Brian Griffin dying scene was, and has only become more iconic with time. It was an incredibly impactful moment in culture, as fucking retarded as that sounds. Listen, I don't know how I'm gonna tell my kids that I got sad over talking cartoon dog number 7 dying for comedic effect either. But it hurt, and Seth MacFarlane is an evil man for playing with my stupid, young, and very prepubescent emotions like that. But that scene is so iconic that it didn't really hit its peak as something to make funny, ironic memes out of until the modern day. In fact, Family Guy as a whole has become kind of a trash fire that we're using the ashes from to make meta-ironic, post-ironic, and now, why not, pasta ironic memes from. But here's an image of all the YouTube Storytime animators reacting to the death of Brian with Stewie. Why is this funny? Why did I shit myself on the spot laughing at this? Why? God, I feel like Garfield right now. Like I could literally eat some lasagna off of a floor that hasn't been washed in 8 years right now. Where was I again? Family Guy has become an important part of the movement of really abstract memes that often circumvent your expectations, or a lot of the time just do away with the concept of coherence entirely. Like if you showed this image here to someone without context, they would likely struggle to tell you what it is meant to be. Firstly, because based on the image quality, it looks like it went through the digestive system of an elephant who has lots of casual sex. But aside from the actual image resolution, it's literally a miscellaneous blob of pixels that kind of looks like Peter Griffin, and it's slapped on a grayscale Jupiter. That's literally it. Oh, but the funny is that it says Jupiter. On to 10. Go figure. The next one is a tongue twister. Luckily for us though, I have years of practice at tying cherries in my mouth with just my tongue. None of that fake shit where people would hide an already knotted cherry behind their teeth or some tomfuckery. Not to be anti-Semitic or anything, but WTF, who the fuck, changed my background to Qualima SQ11 mini camera 1080p HD DVR black. Hi guys, I'm back. My brain clocked out while reading that image. But back in the day, there was also, of course, the really great advice animal Family Guy format of, you know what really grinds my gears? If you were capable of sapient thought back then and not just a fetus, and making the joke unironically, you'd probably say something like this. You know what really grinds my gears? When people can't seem to understand that not everyone works 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, and gets upset when you can't just work around plans around their schedule. Works plans. Whereas nowadays, to be up to snuff and to still use this format, you'll have to run the image through a deep fryer a few times, maybe add some content aware scale. Every letter you use in the meme to write something out has to be screenshotted from a different source or in a different font and mashed together uncomfortably to read something like this. You know what really grinds my gears? Except it's ironic, so it's not. Now don't think that this means Family Guy is only getting memes made about it, mocking the greatness it used to once have. That it's an old man resting on its laurels instead of trying anything new. No, that's what the actual show is. We're talking about meme formats here. Family Guy's still pushing out new stuff on that front. For instance, very recently we had the "Why do you guys always act like you're better than me" meme, which is essentially just another one of those comparison meme formats like the Drake hand and that car swerving to get to the desired turn really hastily. But the gist is that Meg is getting all fed up with the bullying in the household or whatever again, no one cares. But in this meme, she represents the thing that is considered to be inferior in the argument. The second panel is Lois, Peter, and Chris sitting on the iconic couches in the iconic show Family Guy's iconic family room, dressed up all fancy and high class. They can all collectively represent one thing if you just decided to overlay text across all of them, or, and this is the part that I think gives this meme a little more versatility and helps it stand out in the comparison meme industry, is that each individual person can represent an individual thing. I'm gonna stop waiting around this Xbox because I think it's gonna go flying out of my hands. Y'all just gonna have to deal with the arm circles, bro. But each person can represent a different thing that you consider to be better than what Meg's representing. But aside from that, there's one particular Cupid meme that really got me in the funny bone. And by that, I mean it pulled the physical part of the body we refer to as the funny bone right out of my arm and left me on the floor, writhing in my own blood, screaming in pain and for the sweet release of death to make the pain stop. Yeah. Hey guys, look! It's the funny Peter Griffin meme! It's Peter Griffin's face covering every surface of a cube. That's 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter in dimensions. It's Peter Griffin! At the end of the day, this has only accelerated the process of my brain's rapid deterioration, so why not just speed it up even more and put me out of my misery already? I think it's time to take a look at some of the absolute trash that you guys have all sent me. Let's start with one that against all odds actually got a chuckle out of me. It's one that I find to tell a really compelling story, as the medium through which it's told is a Discord message. The author of this tale is Juan Voldebales. I have no idea how to pronounce that, so what you got is what you get, you pedestrian. Here we have Kirby sucking in the air in front of him, and here we have Peter getting ready to be straight up bored by this little pink marshmallow. There's the emote, a really fat Kirby when he's got something in his mouth, and next thing you know, he pops Peter Griffin out of his asshole. Having just read his genetic code, in other words for deoxyribonucleic acid, Kirby is ready to copy him. Just look at the little guy. He's got the nutsack chin, the nose, and Peter's glasses. It's absolutely hideous. There is a classic image of the famous scene from Family Guy where Sans makes an appearance to greet and reunite with his old college roommate and lifetime friend Peter Griffin. But of course, to end this shit show, I want to talk to you all about the most sacred Family Guy meme of them all. This one is really special. It's claimed to be the last thing you see right before you die by people who browse r/conspiracy theories at 4 a.m. And I'm sure you all know that I'm talking about Joe Swanson walking. This image and scene as a whole breaks and makes careers. It defied what was once believed to be one of the universal truths of the universe and of Earth, that Joe Swanson can't walk. My piece on this may be short, but if I didn't give this holy moment from Family Guy a spot in the video, then I would be doing a disservice to Family Guy and all the memes it has given us. May you ascend from sitting to walking and then soaring high in the skies at the end of your days, Joe, and into your next life. You are the gift that God didn't know he gave us. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to drop a like, and if you're new, subscribe. Thanks to everybody who submitted Family Guy memes. Most of y'all didn't. I have a podcast with Wild Spartans and FBS Diesel called Loudmouse. We upload one new episode every week on Saturdays, and we're up on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. If you want to support the channel a little more directly, you can do so by clicking that join button next to the subscribe button and donating $5 a month to get things like custom badges and custom emotes. It's totally optional, but it helps out the channel, and it is much appreciated. If you want to cop my merch, you can go to kwiteshop.com. Shit is pretty slick. I stream on Twitch sometimes. If you want to check that out, it's twitch.tv/Kwite. You can follow me on Twitter at Kwite as well. You can follow me on Instagram at Kwite.png. Links to both of those in the description below. And lastly, I also have a Discord server. Links to that in the description as well if you're interested. Anyways, this has been Kwite, and I'll see you guys next time.
Meter Griffin, Meter Griffin, Meter Griffin, Meter Griffin, Meter.